Hello guys, welcome to Began Fan. A few months ago I bought a fixed wing drone. This is a sub 250 gram plug and play version of ZOHD Talon, and today I'm going to show you how I make this thing fly. If you have seen my previous videos, you probably already know I mostly fly quadrocopters, such as a camera drone or a FPV drone. The fixed wing drone piqued my interest because these things can fly with a minimal number of parts, and they fly much longer than the typical quad of the same weight category. Now, who does not love a cost-effective and energy-efficient machine, right? Although the fixed wing drones can be cost-effective and energy-efficient, there is an entry barrier to getting into the fixed wing drone. It takes a lot of practice to be able to fly this drone properly. Unlike a DJI camera drone that you can just pick up and fly on the first go. The problem with not being able to fly a drone properly is that you crash it, and you may not be able to fly it again, costing you money and time, and it can be really discouraging. However, there are ways to overcome this barrier. You can always get a tiny, lightweight fixed wing drone, and you can fly it, crash it, because it's so lightweight. Even if you crash it, it probably won't sustain any damages. And you can pick it up and fly it again and again and so on. This will save you a lot of headache and money. Previously, I made a video on how I set up this drone. In that setup, the signal for servos in aileron, elevator, and rudder goes through a gyro stabilizer or a flight controller. The fixed wing drone does not necessarily need a flight controller, but I put one in there because a little bit of stabilization from the gyro goes a long way. However, there was a slight problem. The gyro that I put in there did not stabilize the plane as expected. Let me explain. When I push the throttle up, it does work, and then same thing with the rudder and elevator and the aileron. They all work fine. So far so good. When I tilt this plane, the aileron initially moves to correct the movement. So it does move initially. You can see here, it does move initially, but it does not keep correcting. It comes back to its position. Even though the plane is still tilted, the aileron did correct at first and then it came back to the normal position. It was supposed to keep correcting until the plane is upright, but it just does correct initially and then comes back up, which is a problem because that means in flight situation the plane is going to crash unless you are actively providing the input to the plane. The flight controller has these tiny knobs, 3 knobs if you can see or not, that you can turn to adjust the response of the servos. However, that didn't seem to help. Fortunately, I have a flight controller from ZOHD, the same manufacturer as the fixed wing drone, lying around from one of my previous projects. This is called ZOHD Kopilot Lite, and I got this for one of my projects a few years ago, where I was trying to build my own fixed wing drone using foam board and electronics. The project was a partial success because I was able to get the plane into the air and fly it for like 30 seconds before I crashed it. And I crashed that drone many times and got frustrated because I was not able to fly it well. At that time, I did not have any prior experience flying a fixed wing. A couple of years later, my wife gifted me a small, lightweight fixed wing drone that I actually enjoyed flying. I was able to fly this a couple times before I lost that drone to a storm. Rest in peace, Tiny Ann. However, that plane, that tiny little plane, gave me a confidence that I can fly fixed wing. A year later, here I am trying to get back into flying fixed wing drone again. They say third time is the charm. I really hope that's true. In addition to the gyro stabilization, the ZOHD Kopilot Lite also has other features such as launch assist. When you arm the motor and push the throttle up, the flight controller will automatically push the elevator up, and this will bring the nose up on the airplane, leading it to gain of altitude. This can be really useful when you are launching your fixed wing with your hand. In addition, it also has a GPS unit which can be used for geofencing. You can program a button on your controller as a return to home, and once you flip that, the plane will automatically return and fly above you in circles until you land the plane or it runs out of battery. This can be really useful when you are a beginner pilot and maybe when you are flying long distance. And if you lose sight of your plane, you can always press return to home button. I don't intend to use this GPS unit at first because I've already packed this tiny plane with a lot of stuff, and also I don't intend to fly it far. But this can be really useful in some instances, and I may use it in the future. The flight controller comes with a removable adjustment board that lets you adjust the stabilization response of the servos, type of the aircraft, and the radius of the geofence when GPS is used. I chose the drone model as BTL and adjusted the servo response using this board. Then I connected the 4 channels and 1 auxiliary channel of the drone to the flight controller. Then I connected the flight controller to a receiver using a 7-pin PWM connector. I encountered another problem in this step. I had lost the PWM connector cable during my last use, and the cable was not available anywhere in the market. I even considered purchasing a brand new flight controller just for the cable, but apparently they don't sell the flight controller anymore. I don't know if this is temporary out of stock or they stopped making it. Then I decided to make my own PWM connector using existing cables and pins and soldering them together, which was a very tedious process. I noticed a potential failure point in one of the cable that I soldered before, which I will fix later in this video. If you want to purchase a flight controller, there are various options available online and most of them work very well. Of course, each has their own unique features and their own quirks. However, most flight controllers are similar enough that experience with one brand is useful to set up another brand, and of course you can always refer to their user manual. Okay, it is now time to check if the connection to the plane are correct. Okay, so let's try the throttle first. As you can see here, the throttle is working. When I push the throttle off, the motor is running. But you can also notice the elevator is going up when I throttle up. So that is the flight assist feature that I was talking about. This will help you gain the altitude at first when you launch it with your hand. So let's check the aileron. When I turn the aileron right, the right aileron goes down and left goes up. So this means that if I turn this right, the plane will bank left. That's not correct. So I don't think this is correct. It should have been the opposite. When I turn to left, the left aileron should have gone out. So I need to reverse the aileron channel. On the elevator, when I push the elevator up, servos are moving down, which means the plane will actually go down. So that's also not correct. It's also opposite. It should have been the opposite. When I do this up, the elevator should come up. I also need to reverse the elevator channel. Now let's check the rudder. When I push this right, the right rudder is down and left is up. So the plane should yaw towards right. So this is correct. The yaw channel or the rudders are working okay in this case. So the ailerons and the elevator need to be reversed. Inverse. And then back, channel 2, edit, inverse, and return. Throttle up, and it's working fine. Aileron on the right. When I turn the right one comes up, so it should bank towards right. Aileron on the left, so bank towards left. Rudder, when I turn left, it's a yaw towards left. Right, yaw towards right, that's correct. Elevator, when I do this up, the elevator come up, down, comes down. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to check the flight assist, or if the gyro is actually stabilizing the plane even without manual input from the controller. When I bank this to the left, the aileron on this side comes up, so it should move it down, back up. When I bank this to the right, the aileron on the left comes up, so it should bank to the left to bring the plane back. And as you can see, the correction is sustained, unlike previously with the other flight controller, which would initially correct and then move back. In this case, it remains where it is until I push it back. And the same thing with the elevator. You can see here. Before I took the drone to the field for test flight, I resoldered one of the cables in the PWM cable that was almost damaged and covered it with shrink wrap. I taped the connection point of all the 7 wires so that the joint will not be strained during any flight. I organized the wires and secured the flight controller near the center of gravity with the arrow facing forward using a double-sided tape. Then I put a Scotch tape on the receiver and the wires around it so that they don't get tangled in the servos during the flight. You don't want the center of gravity to shift during the flight. Therefore, it's critical that all the parts within the drone are secured. Okay, I'm here out at the field and here is the moment of truth. So one last thing before I fly. So the center of gravity is somewhere in the wing, somewhere around here, and if I do this, it balances. And it's windy outside. I hope this does not bother the plane too much. We'll see. Okay, ready to launch this thing. Yes. It's too windy. It did fly. I did fly one round all around this field. And the plane was shaky a little bit for some reason. I'm not sure why. I may need to do some settings, and then it did a soft crash, I would say, not a hard crash, but a soft crash by the end of this field. Okay, so I'm happy that it flies. Now I just need to do some fine tunings with that plane, and then fly it again. The plane took up successfully, but it was shaky. I could see it shaking while flying, so it was partly the wind, but I don't think wind is all it. It must be the response of one of the servos. I think it's the aileron, so I'm gonna turn the response of aileron a little bit and see if that helps stabilize the plane better. Now, it does look like I increased it, so I'm gonna see. This one will help. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that toned down the response of the aileron a little bit, so hopefully this will help. And while at it, I've also tightened the battery strap because you don't want the center of gravity to move during the flight. All right, ready for round 2. Okay. Not quite what I expected. Oh, okay. I think I know what the issue is. I launched it too fast. I need to let the momentum build up for the motor first. Okay, turning it on. You can hear the motor get louder. I think it's ready for go. Yeah. Still shaky. Oops. Okay. It went over the fence. I need to go to get it. Yeah, the wind is not really helping. So I'll try some other day. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed this video. I'll make more videos about fixed wing and many other topics in near future. So stay tuned to my channel, Big Fan. Goodbye, take care of yourself, and see you later.